Welcome to our leadership podcast entitled Lump Conversations. Lump meaning leadership and management perspectives. Here in our podcast, we will talk about leadership styles, leadership angles, leadership viewpoints, and all other perspectives in leadership and management. However, this will be quite different as we will be holding the conversational level at the level of the subordinates and non leaders. So, the question is, how do the non leaders view great leadership? Well, we may forget that there are thousands of leaders out there, but there are millions of non leaders that are being led by people they are assigned to be as leaders. So join us as we will have a conversation regarding leadership and management perspectives. By the way, this is Jervin Eagle, your podcast host, and today we are privileged to have a guest, a rank and file teacher in one college, and he is teaching ethics and logic. He will give his viewpoints during the podcast. Our guest today is Mentor Nhoie. Any opening words, Mentor Nhoie? Thank you for inviting this humble teacher to this podcast. This is again LAMP Lump Leadership and Management Perspective podcast. It's great to be invited to talk about leadership, even if we are just plain citizens in our workplace. In our school, I am not even a department head. I am a plain teacher, and I think I can have the best description of my bosses because I am at the end not only of the orders that they give, but the results of the command that they utter. So let's talk about leadership from the subordinate's viewpoint. Again, this is Mentor Nhoie. Well, the best people who can tell if a leader is great will always be their subordinates, and I agree with that, right? That's like asking who can be the best reference for a good father. Will that be the guidance counselor or the head of the PTA? Well, of course, nothing more than the children. Today, let us try to see how an eagle, well, you heard it right, how an eagle practice or implement its leadership, being acknowledged as the superiors in the sky. So let us try to examine the 7 leadership principles of great eagles. Principle number 1. Eagles fly alone and at high altitudes. They don't fly with sparrows, ravens, and other small birds. Meaning, if we want to lead like eagles, stay away from narrow-minded people, those that bring you down. Eagles will always fly with eagles, and that is good company. This is a very good principle. What is your view about this, Mentor Nhoie? Thank you, Jervin. Well, today we have so many leaders who know what is right, but often they are afraid of doing what they think is right because it may not be popular among the subordinates. This poses a great danger for we innovate the correct leadership skills that we possess, adjust to the clamor of the populace, and at times go for popularity versus what is the truth. As of the moment, let us now proceed to principle number 2. Eagles have accurate visions. They have the ability to focus on something as far as 5 kilometers away. No matter what the obstacles, eagles will not lose their focus from the prey until they grab it. Wow, this is very definite. The meaning of this is, have a vision as a leader or as a manager and remain focused no matter what the obstacles or the hindrances that you will have along the way, and you will succeed. Can you explain further about this, Mentor Nhoie? Thank you. Today, many leaders have good planning foresight, but when the real execution happens, there are a lot of detours, focus diversions, and at times, at some points, loss of stamina to produce the real goal, as there are other ways that may present which is never a part of the basic strategies in place, and that causes the downfall. Well, I agree with the points of Mentor Nhoie. As of the moment, let us go now to principle number 3. Eagles do not eat dead things. Let me repeat that. Eagles do not eat dead things. They feed only on fresh praise. Well, the meaning of this is do not rely on your past successes. Keep looking for new frontiers to conquer. Leave your past where it belongs, and that is in the past. Very definite explanation. But we will still try to get the point of view of Mentor Nhoie. Mentor Nhoie? Well, I can say that today, leadership is a broad spectrum focus. It's not only in the present which lays the foundation of the future, it is more on what has been done already. We often top leaders because of their past, not because of what they can still do in the present and maybe their dreams for the future. Another pinch in this viewpoint is that most of the leaders today will judge subordinates using their past, using their records, of which this incarcerating attitude leaves no room for improvement. At least, don't let the past dictate on the hopes of the future. That is very basic because the past will never be a past if it is not worth a change. By then, it should have been still the present and hopefully the great future. That was a very nice explanation, Mentor Nhoie. As of the moment, let's go to principle number 4. Eagles love the storm. When clouds gather, the eagle gets excited and uses the storm winds to lift itself higher. Once it finds the wind of the storm, the eagle uses the raging storm to lift itself above the clouds. Wow, that's nice. This gives the eagle an opportunity to glide and rest its wings, and in the meantime, all the other birds hide in the branches and leaves of the trees when the storm is still in place. This makes the eagle a cut above the rest. The meaning of this is face your challenges head on, knowing that this will make you emerge stronger and better than you were. We can always use the storms of life as leaders to rise to greater heights. Achievers are not afraid of challenges. Rather, they release themselves and use them profitably. So, what can you add about this, Mentor Nhoie? Take your time. Well, Jervin, you will never see the real leadership of a leader or real management of a manager until there are challenges. Challenges, tribulations, and heavy concerns that will come along their way. Remember, being strong in the midst of calm and peace tells nothing about the strength of the leadership. It's the problem, chaos, trials, and all the other storms meet along the way that instills the effective and resilient leader as modeled by the Eagles. That is what we learn from them in this podcast. That was a very point blank explanation. Now let us go to principle number 5. Eagles prepare for training. They remove the feathers and soft grass in the nest so that the young ones get uncomfortable in preparation for flying and eventually fly when it becomes unbearable to be at the nest. The meaning of this? Leave your comfort zones. If you want to be a good leader, a good manager, leave your comfort zones. There is no growth there. You have to use what you have been trained for so that it will bear results. Mentor Nhoie, take it. Okay, I like this point. Training. Being prepared. Today, some leaders do not want to leave their comfort zones because they know how uncomfortable it is being once a subordinate also. There is no growth here, and at some point, some leaders are trained, but they are fighting battles outside of their training. That is why, how will you succeed if you are a water animal fighting an aerial battle? That's very weird, huh? Today, we need leaders whose training is related to the battles that they will need to fight. Or else, we will have a very useful training, very great accomplishment, very great education executed in a very useless war. a sure incompatibility that will be a hindrance to success and fruition of labors of our leaders and managers. That was a lengthy but straight to the bullseye explanation. Let us go now to principle number 6. When an eagle grows old, his feathers become weak and cannot take them as fast or as high as it should. This makes him weak and could make him die. So he retires to a place far away in the mountains. While he is there, he plucks out the weak feathers on his body and breaks the beaks that he has and claws that he has against the rocks until he is completely bare. A very bloody and painful process. Then he stays in the hiding place until he has grown new feathers, new beaks, and claws, and then he comes out flying higher than before. What a process the eagle is taking. Meaning, we occasionally need to shed off old habits if we want to be good leaders, good managers, no matter how difficult. Things that burden us or add no value to our lives should be let go of. There are times when the best move is not to move forward but backwards because not all battles should be fought, especially those that will not give us moral victory whether we win or we lost the battle. Any additional thoughts to this, Mentor Nhoie? Well, Jervin, accepting our weaknesses and then retreating to learn from it is not a sign of weakness, but something to be respected and adored as a leader. A leader who is projecting strength 24/7 without a shade of exhaustion and weakness may not be a human leader but a robot. That is why take a step back to move swifter and better when you decide to take 2 steps forward to move noble and to attain sensible victory. Refusing useless battles is not a disadvantage. It's using everything to your advantage. Thank you, Mentor Nhoie, for that very, very nice explanation. Indeed, it's very difficult to become a leader in the eagle's eyes. Let's go now to principle number 7, the last principle. Eagles do not hide to surprise a prey. Often they come at a studied angle of the prey's weakness and then plunge in strong and dominant. Meaning, there is no room for pretentious leadership. There is no room for pretensions. The more we pretend we know, the more we are digging a deeper hole. The more we pretend we know, the more we are digging a deeper hole, and our recovery to these pretensions will be very, very hard. There will be a great separation between the pretentious us and the real us. When that happens, facade after facade will be built, and reality will just be a concept of idealism and will not be functional and real ones anymore. In fact, there will be an amnesia of what is really the right one. Now, Mentor Nhoie, I know you have a very good input for this. Take it. Thank you. Well, let me emphasize this one, Jervin. Pretentious victory is a success that was in the first place not ours. Why? Because we pretend to be not us in the process of executing this. Often, indecisiveness leads to pretension because one leader does not want to be credited with an error. There is nothing wrong with an error or a mistake as long as it was done in the process of truth and it was executed in good faith wherein it was not orchestrated against a stereotype or a minority in the system. There is always dignity in failing correctly. It's the first step to do what is right next time. So do not ever consider failure as useless. It is the most useful experience to become successful in the next step. Thanks for that beautiful explanation, Mentor Nhoie. We learned a lot today from the leadership perspectives of an eagle. Obviously, even making it better, for our understanding is with the presence of Mentor Nhoie, who is really carefully and understandably making it very, very nice for us to comprehend. I hope you learned from us and will continue to be a part of our LAMP podcast. That is Leadership and Management Podcast. Okay? Mentor Nhoie, do you have concluding words? Foremost, thank you very much, Jervin Eagle, for inviting this humble teacher in your podcast, The LAMP Leaders and Managers Perspectives. It's an honor. Leadership in the eyes of an eagle is one of the most complete, practical, and easily understood type of effective leadership. I did not only learn that before, I was even more educated now that I attended your podcast. Well, especially that we have uncovered this topic today. I hope more people will see work or will see their work, see their actions in the eye of an eagle. Thank you very much. This is Mentor Nhoie, and it's a privilege to always be in your program. Thank you very much for your time with us, Mentor Nhoie. Once again, this is LUMP Conversations, wherein leadership and management perspectives are the forefront topics of our podcast. This is Jervin Eagle. Till our next podcast, it's time to fly now.